All right, let's talk about ags. This is an article coming from Successful Farming. This was the corn and soy export expectation drop in Friday's WASDE report. So WASDE stands for the World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates. This comes out each month. And let's start with corn. We ended the month at 1.452 billion bushels above the May estimate. Soybeans, we ended the month at 230 million bushels, also above the May estimates of 215. For wheat, we ended the month at 598 million bushels. This was no change. Now, when it comes to supply and demand around the world, regarding corn, we had exports are lowered by 50 million bushels based on a report by the U.S. Census Bureau shipments through the month of April. Export inspection data for the month of May and expectation of competition from Brazil in the coming months. Concerning soybeans, the USDA says this month's soybean supply and use projections for 23-24, including higher beginning and ending stock. Higher beginning stock reflect reduced exports for the 22-23 year, down 15 million bushels to 2 billion based on lower than expected shipments in May and competition from South America. Regarding wheat, the USDA says the outlook for this year, next year is for larger supplies, unchanged domestic use and exports, and higher stock. Supplies are raised as all wheat production is projected at 1.665 billion bushels, up from 6 million from last month, on higher hard red winter productions more than offsetting reduction in soft red winter and white winter. So what this is telling me is that supplies for wheat are expected to rise. Regarding soybeans, we're going to see less exports, which means more supply. And regarding corn, exports were lowered by 50 million bushels. So overall, this tells me that there is going to be more supply than there is demand for all three ags. And so let's go to the charts. So we should see prices over time going down on the price chart. So let's start with corn. And if we start at the monthly chart, we can see price almost hit the all-time highs back in April of last year. We can see in the fall and early this year we had basing before price broke out and retested the 13 simple moving average, which was now pointing down. Now, I think in a previous video a couple of months ago maybe, I had a daily bias level at 536. We got within 10 points of that level before price reacted and moved higher. I'm not sure why this dashed line is here, so let's go down to the weekly chart. We can see price making lower highs and lower lows, and maybe this is just a correction before the next impulse down. And that's what we would expect if there's going to be more supply over time for corn. So we'll see if this level at 536 eventually gets hit to cause a reaction in price. Again, maybe just a correction before the next impulse down. Let's go to the chart of soybeans. And we're going to start with the monthly chart. And we can see that price did breach and close below this monthly uptrend line back in March. Again, all-time highs were at 17.95. And this was probably the result of a weak dollar, right? This was 2022. I'm not sure what the dollar was doing at this time, but nevertheless, what is this here? This is November 21. This is a weekly buyer's level at 1170. Still valid as price only penetrated the zone, roughly 30%. We do see price for the month of June pushing higher. There might be something at this 1418 level. This is a wick over wick, so there might be some sellers here on a lower time frame. Let's go down to the weekly. So last week we had a hammer candle, which was showing a bullish reversal, and we had the follow through this week, as this week will close in green. Now I mentioned 1418. That'll be right around here, but I don't see anything as of yet. Let's drill down to the daily chart. Okay. I'm going to take this off. Now there might be some buyers at this 1400 level. However, the reward to risk ratio, if you were to take that short, you have daily buyers that were formed before this surge on Friday. So this is going to be the battle of the buyers and the sellers on the daily chart. And this is probably the reaction from the WASDE report that came out at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I was actually trying to play this at 12 o'clock. I was trying to play soybean oil, actually. And report comes out at noon. This was the noon candle. I was expecting price to go long. 30 minutes prior, we had this institution selling off, only to get in at a lower price. I had my order in, but I took it off as we did not get a violent move as I was anticipated. Nevertheless, the trade worked out in my direction without me. All right, let's go back to the charts. So right now we have to wait until price decides who's going to win it out, the sellers or the buyers. However, the trend on the weekly chart is down. So what I'm anticipating is price moving down from here. Oops. Okay, let's go to, last but not least, wheat. All right. So I'm going to go straight to the weekly chart, as price is in or was in the daily buyers level, price did breach this level, went down as far as 573. So why did price stop here and move higher? Okay, can you see that? Resistance, 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 support, resistance. So if we just draw a band across, we can see why price did stop, only to move higher. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take this zone off the chart. The chart was breached. We're going to go down to the daily chart. Take that off. So we do have some resistance, which was support at the 656 level. Again, if we scroll out to the weekly chart, we might just get a correction before the next impulse down. Again, this is all based on supply and demand, and for the three main crops over time, over the next 12 months, it appears that there's going to be more supply than there is demand. But time will tell. A lot depends on weather and next year's crops and the yields of those crops. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.